everyone. I am Vinit Kumar Sinha from ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. In this video lecture series, we are discussing the subject Materials Engineering and Unit 2 phase diagrams. Today, we're going to discuss the topic Alloys and Solid Solutions. So, as per syllabus, we'll be covering the topic Alloys, substitutional and interstitial solid solutions. What are solid solutions and what are alloys? What is the difference between the two? And also the Hume-Rothery rule. So, alloy, we all know from the beginning that alloy as a material that exhibits properties of a metallic material and is made from multiple elements, two or more than two elements. So, an alloy can be defined as a homogeneous substance that can be made by melting two or more elements, one of which is a metal. It is defined as a mixture of metals. It is made up of two or more chemical elements, of which at least one is a metal. So an alloy has properties different from the metals. The properties gets changed when we alloy, and that is the advantage to us for which we make alloys. Most alloys are made by melting the metals, mixing them while they are liquid to form a solution, then leaving them to cool and turn solid again. Then what are solid solutions? So then a solid solution forms when the solute atoms are added to the host material. The number of atoms, the element whose number of atoms are less are called solute elements or solute atoms, and the elements whose atoms are more are called solvent. So the solute and solvent, combination of solute and solvent are solid solutions, and here solute atoms are added to the host material. The crystal structure is maintained. Main point is the crystal structure of the solvent. Since solvent is in majority, the majority number of atoms are of solvent. So the crystal structure of solvent is maintained and no new structures are formed. So the solute atoms will take either the substitutional or interstitial places, interstitial positions, as we discussed earlier in defects in crystal. So a solid solution is compositionally homogeneous. Since the crystal structure is maintained of the solvent, so it is compositionally homogeneous. The impurity atoms are randomly and uniformly dispersed within the solid. The impurity atoms or the solute atoms are randomly and uniformly dispersed within the solid. The solute may incorporate into the solvent crystal lattice substitutionally by replacing a solvent particle in the lattice known as substitutional solid solution, or it may be random or ordered. This we can see in this picture. These red atoms are taking the place of blue atoms. So since the number of blue atoms are more, here the solvent is blue atoms. Yes, here it is mentioned blue one as solvent. And the red ones are, we can see, replacing or taking the position of blue atoms and replacing them, the blue ones, with the red ones. And the quantity is less or the number is less. So these are called solute atoms. So solute atoms are the red ones taking the place of solvent atoms. But this substitution is random. The red ones are randomly taking the positions. So it is called random substitutional solid solution. And the crystal structure, whatever crystal structure is there, FCC or BCC or HCP, as we had discussed earlier, that of the solvent is maintained. Similarly, another type of solid solution is ordered substitution. Here it is seen that red atoms or the solute atoms which have replaced or substitute the solvent are ordered. Means every alternate atoms are substituted by these red atoms. So every alternate are red. So this is a random, this is an ordered uh, substitution. It is having the substitution orderly. So it is called ordered substitutional solute solution. Similarly, solute atom may fit into the space between solvent particles known as interstitial solid solution. If the solute atom is taking the place of interstitial positions inside the crystal structure of the solvent, then it is called interstitial solid solution. Here we can see, as we can see, blue atoms are marked solvent, and red atoms are taking the interstitial positions in between the gaps. So these are called interstitial solid solution. And the entire crystal structure of the solvent, having the blue one, would be maintained. And it would be homogeneous in nature, is compositionally homogeneous. So these are the conditions of having solid solutions when we call it a solid solution. So both types of solid solution affect the material's properties, either substitutional or interstitial, by distorting the crystal lattice and disrupting the physical and electrical homogeneity of the solvent material. Though the crystal structure remains same, the distortion in the crystal lattice due to the substitution or interstitial addition of the solute atoms causes a change in or disruption in the physical and electrical homogeneity of the solvent material. So this is the characteristic of the property of the solid solution. Now, since we are discussing alloys and solid solution, we can have a general we can see the difference between alloy and solid solution. So an alloy can be defined as a mixture of metals or a mixture of a metal and another element. Mixture of two or more metals or a metal and another element means at least one would be the metal. Similarly, a solid solution is a solid state solution of one or more solutes in a solvent. The solute atoms would be one or more than one inside a solvent, either substitutional or interstitial, taking the position substitutional or interstitial. Alloys are defined by a metallic bonding character. The bonds are metallic. An alloy may be a solid solution of metal elements, single phase, or a mixture of metallic phases, two or more solutions. So an alloy may be a solid solution where the single phase is present of metal elements or a mixture of metallic phases. Solid solution, a mixture is considered a solution rather than a compound when the crystal structure of the solvent remains unchanged by addition of the solids. This is as per the definition. And when the mixture remains in a single homogeneous phase. In the solid solution, always the mixture will remain in a single homogeneous phase. But in alloy, it may be a single phase or it may be two or more phases can exist simultaneously. In alloys, intermetallic compounds are alloys with a defined stoichiometry and crystal structure. The crystal structure and stoichiometry combinations are defined. This often happens when the two in the solid solution often happens when the two elements, generally metals involved, are close together on a periodic table. They can have a better solid solubility. Example of alloys are steel is an alloy, solder is an alloy, brass, pewter, duralumin, bronze, amalgams. These can be the example of alloys. And example of solid solutions include crystallized salts. Crystallized salts from their liquid mixture, moist solids, etc. Now coming on to Hume-Rodri rule or Hume-Rodri rule of complete solid solubility. Unlimited solid solubility. This can also be defined as Hume-Rodri rule of unlimited solid solubility. So in order for an alloy system such as copper nickel, if copper nickel alloy, if we consider copper nickel alloy to have unlimited solid solubility, certain conditions must be satisfied. We know that copper and nickel alloy is having unlimited solid solubility, but it is due to certain conditions that satisfied in case of copper and nickel. And if these conditions satisfy for any two element combination of alloy, then it would be having unlimited solid solubility. The first one is atomic size factor. Atomic size of the two elements or the solute and solvent. Appreciable quantities of a solute may be accommodated in this type of solid solution only when the distance in atomic radii between the two atoms is less than about 15%. So the difference in the sizes, atomic sizes, that the two types of atoms, the size of the atoms, solute and solvent, the difference would be less than 15%, less than equal to 15%. Otherwise, the solute atoms will create substantial lattice distortions and a new phase will form. So what was the condition of having solid solution? That entire solvent, the crystal structure would be maintained of the solvent, and the entire solution would be homogeneous or in a single phase. So if the radii, if the sizes of the two atoms is more than 15%, the difference in the size of the two atoms would be greater than 15%, the solute atoms will create substantial lattice distortions, and a new phase will form. So it would not be a solid solution anymore. So the first condition is atomic size factor as per Hume-Rothery rule. Second, crystal structure. For appreciable solid solubility, the crystal structure for metals of both atom types must be the same. So the crystal structure of solute and solvent should be same so that the combination, the solid solution would also be having same crystal structure as of solvent or solute. Third point is electronegativity. The atoms must have approximately the same electronegativity. The electronegativity should be same. It is, and what is electronegativity? It is the affinity for electrons. We know that electronegativity is the affinity for electrons. If the electronegativities differ significantly, compounds get formed. And solid and not form solid solution. As when sodium and chloride ions combine to form sodium chloride. The sodium chloride is a compound, it's not an alloy or not a solid solution. So electronegativity should be maintained. And valences, the ions must have the same valence, otherwise the valence electron difference encourages the formation of compounds. So the difference in electronegativity and valence should be as minimum as possible, otherwise the compound will form. So as per Hume-Rothery rule condition, four points are there for unlimited solid solubility. For having an unlimited solid solubility is atomic size factor should be less than 15%, crystal structure should be same, electronegativity should be same, and valence should be same. So these are the four conditions of Hume-Rothery. So this is all about it in this lecture, and in further videos, further topics should be considered. Thank you.